Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Astrology and Beyond. Today, with your host Tatiana, also broadcasting for ANN Archetypal News Network. And please, before we start with our astro weather for the first half of February, don't forget to like, subscribe, tap the little bell, and all those wonderful things so this video can be found and the channel can grow a little bit more, and this information might help more people. So that is my wish, and if you can help me with that, that would be amazing. And also a quick reminder that for the month of February, I have on special the relationship readings because it's the month of relationships, apparently. I mean, I guess relationships is always, but this month we're highlighting that. So I would like to offer that at a discount of 50% off on my sliding scale, which is a great benefit if you want to offer your loved one or your loved ones a relationship reading. And relationships can be anything. Remember, it's not just couples. It can be a relationship with a boss, with a friend, with a you never know, right? Okay, so that's that. Let's begin with our astro weather for the month, for the beginning of the month of February. This can get a little bit intense this month. But, and let's say, and it's not all that, let's say, it doesn't have to be bad or crisis worthy. It's the word I got today, the download I got today is I don't know. That's all the word. I'm like, well, usually astrology, you can say things. I can definitely go with the archetypal weather. In reality, nobody knows. That's kind of the download I got is I don't know. So we will be also discussing the new moon in Aquarius and these revolutionary times, because part of this revolutionary times of not knowing is exactly that. It's a revolution. It's is when we need to move towards something. Everything is evolving, is moving. It's can seem chaotic, but it's just to come out to the other side of something that we don't know what it is. So the main features of this first 15 days of the month is that Mercury will be entering Aquarius. We will have the new moon in Aquarius as well. So you can see there's a lot of Aquarian energy in the air. And then Mars entering Aquarius. So these energy shifts will be reflected really uh, in a powerful way, because once the energy shifts from the Capricorn, more earth-based, more I know what I'm doing, I'm setting goals, to maybe I don't know, to the I don't know, and everything can just shift direction. Things might get exploded in your life, move you somewhere else, shift you somehow, and you're like left without knowing exactly what wormhole you're traveling through. That could be for some confusing, for some super exciting. So let's make it exciting. How about that, right? We have, as you can see, plenty of transits, important transits, and not as filled like the last half of January. I hope you were really intending your month of January very deeply and making actual concrete changes, because it's happening, people. It's happening. It's always happening. Okay, let's look at our first starting the month, February 1st. So we have a, a collection of Capricorn energy that is still very active. This includes the Mars and Mercury conjunction, as well as we have Mars in a trine with Uranus here. And this energy, it's still very active in the earth element, which means in Capricorn is the strive for reaching a goal, for aiming to something that gives a sense of security. and safety. But at the same time, there's this desire for something new and innovative, and freeing up something that it's different from the old, but still tangible. So we could have the feeling that there are innovative and unexpected influences to practical matters. So suddenly you got this idea or this impulse, suddenly there's this idea, there's this impulse, and you just go and do it, and it's really great, and it just happens. uh, this could potentially lead to breakthroughs or unconventional thinking. Also, anything you do at this time, which is sponsored by Jupiter in the sextile with Saturn, could bring really solid rewards over time. So this is when something expands, but if you do that expansion consciously and you're making choices consciously of where you're going without rushing, without just throwing yourself too much, but really thinking about expanding slowly and methodically, this could bring enormous rewards over time. This is a time to really expand in the earth element. It could be expanding your finances, it could be expanding your resources, expanding the way it could also be how you take care of your body. So this could be related to food, to health, to all the Taurus themes, which include everything that's connected to the earth, to the body, to resourcing yourself. So there could be a good sense of being grounded on this earth slowly and surely, and Jupiter brings the capacity to have opportunities that are like golden opportunities. So if you ride the opportunity, and with Saturn you actually do the work, guess what? Over time you will be reaping those rewards. And I can tell you a little story, because this energy is carrying on obviously from the last days of January, and literally yesterday. So yesterday was the 29th of January. Today it's the 30th when I'm recording this. And what's interesting is that its energy is very active. And for whatever reason, I I've been wanting to create a gray water system in my house that is partially off grid and more sustainable system. So this is all about Taurus sustainability. And for the longest time, I just didn't even know how to do this. I bought a bin and I had it there, but I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. And then suddenly, out of the blue, this is why when you have Mercury trine to Uranus, like zoom out of the blue, there's this like inspiration. I just knew what to do, how to do it. The right information came online, like I don't know, I just saw a bin that I had not seen before. Then suddenly I'm like inspired with, Mars is this action energy, the ground, right? I felt just inspired, like, let's just dig a hole and put this bin in. And then I think if we put this other bin in, and then all these ideas kept coming. And then I look online, and the first post that comes up is exactly how to make a gray water simple filter with mulch, a bin within a bin, and I had the right sizes, and I just don't know what took over me, but it was this like zing 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 zing, and then within 5 hours, I'm telling you, this is flash fast, because Uranus is flash fast, right? The hole was dug, the bin was in, the mulch was there, suddenly after like 6 months of wanting to do this, it's all done in 5 hours. And this is an upgrade for sustainability. So you see, this is just an example. And obviously, because my Saturn is transiting my fourth house of home, so this is for me very obvious that I'm trying to get proper systems for the water to drain Pisces. So again, this is very literal, but this is one way the energy can express itself. So this is why I tell these little stories, because when we when we write the energy, we can consciously say, okay, I'm doing this for this purpose. And yesterday, I remember very well going, okay, this is a lot of effort, digging the hole, putting things in action. And I said, remember Saturn. If I do these structures well, they will serve me in the long run, in the long term. and then I'll have better systems instead of water overflowing everywhere, possibly flooding later on. So anyway, that's why I tell you these stories, because they apply to each person, they apply differently, but this is very archetypal. So again, solutions that can come to your mind. And again, this is from last weekend bleeding into this week. If you can align with the sudden flash of insight, and you have the energy for it, which comes from this Mars, just go do it, because you can go and have the solution for the problem you've been waiting to solve. And don't procrastinate. Actually, go do it. Go do it right away, and you'll see it will be done faster than you think. And the other energetic field around this first days of February is this practical communication and intuitive, imaginative insights. And this is sponsored by Neptune in sextile with Mercury. So this is the time also when, if you have a dream or you have a flash or a vision, this is the time where you can actually communicate it, see it, and bring it down to reality. It's almost like when you're planning something and you already know how to actually get there. So the energy is really present for action and for grounding things, and it's very grounded energy. It's not completely crazy. If you really use it, you'll end up with your mulch system in place within no time. So again, anything that is around um the grounded things in life, things you want to see physically manifest, they will be there if you take the action. So especially if you are in the earth signs, between, I would say, yeah, the 19th, maybe 18th degree to the, I would say, 26th degree. If you have any planets or angles in those degrees in your chart of the earth sign, so Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, you might be experiencing these energies very prominent, that there's action, there's concretion, and there's things are moving, they're moving along. So take advantage of these energies. Actually quite great for making progress. Now, next things that are coming in Monday, February 5th. So this is next week, Monday. Again, there is still support from the energy, and we are seeing that we have the square of Uranus to the sun, all the while having Mercury entering Aquarius and conjoining Pluto. So this is going to be really important, because we will have Mercury moving conjoining Pluto. Then we'll have Mars conjoining Pluto. Then we'll have Venus conjoining Pluto. This is going to be an overhaul in many possible ways. Again, what does this translate in English? Because this is just, what? Mercury, what? Conjunct, what? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. For those who are learning astrology, I like to show you what's going on so you can learn and not only just kind of go with it. But if you're not astrology savvy, just go with the themes. So the themes, we're going to see themes. Wow. So some of the themes, Pluto, it's this, I got this image because to me it represents what Mercury and Pluto can feel like. It's like this sudden amount of pressure, energy that just wants to explode from your head, literally. And it might obviously express itself in its higher form of expression or in its shadow. When we have a conjunction, it can go either way depending on how you channel the energy consciously. So first thing, intense and transformative communication, meaning that you might need to say things, deep truths, things that are buried in your subconscious. Maybe you start thinking about the way you think about maybe obsessions, things that are in your mind, and suddenly there's this big need to express a deep truth, and bleh, it comes out. So it can be very transformative in the sense that when you express, it's out. It's like a volcano. What can happen when a volcano explodes? It goes and it just wrecks everything. So Beware of words being too coarse, too like lacking tact, like too strong, because it's like a volcano. A truth can come out and just destroy everything. The purpose of it is that it destroys it. Now, because it's such a volcanic eruption or cathartic thing, it's good to do it in a way that really will empower, because Pluto is about empowering, that will empower you. So you might have probably deep insights, probing discussions, like maybe you have this, it's a great time again for therapy. Whenever we see these kinds of alignments and you can get your hands on some kind of therapeutic work that includes words and includes like letting out the voice, this is great. It can help to also liberate maybe frustration, anger, or anything, or too much mental clutter. This is also what can happen. So if you're able to talk out, blah, 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 you could be uncovering hidden truths or profound ideas. And this could be in many areas. There could be in the area of like technological advancements or technological in the themes of technology and maybe innovation, the social structures may be changing, ideas you have, and all of this is kind of inside yourself, but maybe just something comes out, a truth comes out, maybe you have an idea, maybe there's something that needs to change and needs to explode. So when we talk about social structures, maybe there's a part of you that is fed up with the way things are. Let's say that Capricornian, you know, top top down, and there's a need for self-expression that is really wanting to come out of you. And this is where we have the square of the sun to Uranus. There might be this need to express yourself. You're fed up, it's done, and you're like, ah, and then you explode. So it can go either way. It can be in the way of protests. It can be a literal protest. When you're protesting, there is the vocalization of something, of a truth, of a deep need to get something from the guts outside. So, how this may play out in our world, if we're not aware of it, we might see lots of protesting, lots of inconformity with the systems, lots of I mean, it could be very vocal. We can see the media, because Aquarius also is about the interconnectedness. So it could be in the internet, the internet will be flooded maybe with information, truths that are revealed that make people angry or upset, that make you want to just explode and say, I'm done with this. There's a need to change this social structure. There's a need to change, and then there's going to be these social movements, civil movements. Who knows? But these things are starting to brew. They might actually escalate and escalate and escalate towards mid-month, when on the 16th, when Mars conjoins Pluto with Venus. There might be this like explosion. Where is it gonna go? I don't know. All I can say is that if you manage the explosion internally with your own obsessions, your own thoughts, your own patterns, and you change yourself into the reality you want to birth, and you really let go of all negative thinking, and everything that you believe to be true can be coming into question at this moment. And if you let it burst out and you can see it and release it, then you allow space for the new to really start percolating in. So beware of obsessions and mental struggles, because you can, as much as this can reveal almost like craziness, I would say, or obsessions you may have with something. You might be obsessed with something, and this obsession, you just cannot let the grip off. This is the time to let go of your obsessive thinking. Maybe you're obsessed with a person, with a job, with a thing, with a pattern. It just doesn't matter what you're obsessed with. But if you can see where you're still so attached, or what you fear the most, maybe there's fears that are going to come up to the front. They're going to come up, they're going to bubble up. and surface, and you might see these fears just in front of you. And if you're able to see them and go, you know what, I don't need to think this anymore, because the world might actually reflect to you everything that is fearful, especially when it comes to the social fabric. Who knows? It could be because there's wars, because there's protests, because there's this, because there's that. Again, the climate of non-conformity is just a brew, is something about to explode like a big revolution. And revolutions can happen at many levels. A revolution is just changing and revolving to evolve. And back when, again, Pluto was in Aquarius last time, we had all these cries for independence, for human rights. That was when the French Revolution began. And for the, during the time Pluto was in Aquarius, it was not exactly at its entry, but we were seeing all these movements of emancipation, of human rights, of people being really fed up with the government lying and lying, with institutions being heavy and not really having the people's interest, you know, best interest at heart. So what happened? And well, let's chop some heads off. Why not? And let's make something completely new and radical. So this is the brewing we're gonna have. And let's add to that we have these technological advancements happening. We're having these breakthroughs in technology or new things coming. Maybe there's going to be some revelations and truths that are hidden that will be revealed, like big disclosures around things that could be very positive, but also very enraging. So again, who knows? All we know is that this energy is present. And the other thing about the Aquarian field of energy is that Aquarius is about the multidimensional existence. Things exist all at the same time, like radio stations. If you have a radio station, depending on what you're tuning into, you listen to some music or a broadcast, and each radio station is different. So when you tune in yourself with the radio station you want to live in, well, that's what you experience. So this is the time to realize, what radio station have you been living in? And if you're not liking it and your soul wants and needs an upgrade, then this is the time to do it consciously. So if you're having obsessive thoughts, fearful thoughts, or anything that lowers your frequency, that makes you experience things that are very unpleasant, chances are your soul really wants an upgrade. And you can start consciously making those changes and going, well, I need to let this obsessive pattern go, or this way of thinking go, or this belief I had for ages go. That's part of the Mercury Pluto. Again, the Mercury Pluto can bring people to uncover deep, deep truths. Things that are not seen will be seen, maybe in the media. So let's see. I don't know what disclosures will be coming, but that's that. And on the this is also when we can see Aquarius has a lot of the themes around extraterrestrials, about all the beyond, the cosmic. So again, when all these planets start getting into the Aquarian field, we might have some disclosure around these themes. Nothing new. There's been lots of things now. Even if you type on YouTube like extraterrestrials, or you will start finding that there's a lot of information already out there. And we might also hear more disclosures from people that worked in, I don't know, Area 51 and all those secret military operations and stuff, that will come out and speak about these things, where, again, who knows? Disclosures that will make the themes around cosmic living more tangible, more real, and more close to home, and less sci-fi. I don't know if you remember that movie Independence Day, like back in the 90s. And of course, all the ET movies, we have Star Wars and then Star Trek, and all of that is such a sci-fi thing. And people are meant to think about ETs as these, like, I don't know, probably evil things that come to Earth to colonize Earth and whatnot. And I don't know, it's all very, very literally out there. Well, now the out there is no longer going to be out there. There's going to be more contact per se. And we are also going to start realizing that what we believed maybe to be those narratives are not even really true. You know, that those scary narratives around ETs coming to colonize Earth and whatnot, that's gonna kind of all come out as like, well, it's not really like that. And people might start slowly understanding that being part of a cosmic whole, that we're not just here all by ourselves. It's not about necessarily ETs landing on physical aircrafts. It's more about understanding that life forms exist in different dimensions and that we might be starting to be able to feel and sense into fields or dimensional energies where these other intelligences, let's say, live outside. I mean, outside, meaning outside of Earth, literally, but more outside dimensionally. And if you are watching this channel, chances are that you are really aware of this, that you're not the kind of person that is all completely new, like going, what? UFOs? Is this real? What? ETs? What? Like, you probably already know about Pleiadians, Arcturians, about Lyrians, about Andromedans. Like, you probably already know that there are intelligent races out there that are trying to communicate with us, that live in different vibrational fields, and that are constantly broadcasting information to us. And if we are able to connect to those beings by focusing on our attention and our intention, that's how contact begins to happen. It's not that an ET is just going to show up in your living room. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, in some accounts, people might have had experiences like that. But even people that have been quote unquote abducted sometimes say that they just don't know what happened. They were just, and then they ended up in a ship and then they were put down. But it's not like a physical experience, it's more like a consciousness experience. And they have these experiences, they come back, and then obviously back in the day, people would say, well, these people are crazy, they are hallucinating. And so more and more of these like X-Files is gonna come out. It's kind of exciting times, you know? Also, maybe more discoveries. If it's not just real contact of these dimensional fields, um, maybe real exploration of the out there. So there might be lots of breakthroughs in energy technologies and how to get out of here, you know, like again, Elon Musk, and then there's also Richard Branson, and there's Jeff Bezos, and the new, is this like the new like race to space kind of thing? And it's gonna be more tangible, more real than ever before. It's just gonna be a big quantum leap of sorts. So let's just start expecting news around these things and disclosures. Let's see what happens. Again, unknown. Now, February 9th, this is where we have our new moon in Aquarius. Now, this new moon, this new moon has, again, several themes. So first of all, during this time, we have a few elements that are really important, actually, even coming this whole week from the 5th to the 9th. It's a week where we're going to have very important transits coming along. So we have Chiron conjuncting the North Node. This is one important feature, let's say, that if we use it properly, this energy will help advance us in such a way in our own capacity to activate our masculine, young, assertive energy and the soul's desires, and actually actualizing being here on earth with courage through these times that seem or could seem very convoluted, for lack of a better word. So we have a few things happening. So you see there is the new moon in Aquarius. We're having Mercury has just conjoined Pluto, and Mars is slowly creeping into Pluto as well, making a loose conjunction. It's not exact yet, but it will be then the following week. And we also have the Mercury square Jupiter here, Mercury squaring Jupiter in Taurus, which will add like hype to the whole thing. Let's say this could be a time where there's a lot of hype and inflation around information. There could be a lot of misinformation again. There could be too much uh extravaganza around what we hear, what we say. So I would say, as a word of caution, to mind your words before you blurt out anything, because through these squares of Mercury to Jupiter, we can be just literally blurting out anything, everything and anything. And it's that energy of like too much verbiage coming out like this, and blah 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 blah, blah, and there's like a nonstop either everything is too big. And at this time, I think it's important to, this is where we can be master of our words. We are slave of our words and master of our silence. There, I've said it. Anything we can say at this time or think, it's better to really give it some thought before blurting out things, because it could be, again, this could create a lot of chaos, confusion. And so that's one part of this like energetic imprint. Now the other part of the energetic imprint is this Chiron conjunct the sun. The sun, what am I saying? The conjunct the North Node. Let me see what so themes around this new moon. So we have, again, there could be a lot of disruption in the energy, changes, instability, and urges for individuated self-expression, which is also going to be amplified by Jupiter. So there could be also a tension between progressive, innovative thinking and a desire for stability and traditional values. Because Jupiter is in Taurus, and there might be so many ideas, so many new things, so much going on. It's like just a pouring of information, new things, and it could be difficult to handle everything that comes to us in these next few weeks. So it may lead to expansive ideas, but there's a need to manage them practically. What do I mean with this? So for instance, I got this image. And this is just an example. It could be in any area of life, but let's say as a general topic. Wow, I just created a quantum portal towards, universe beta alpha theta. And then everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Like, let's do it right now. I just want to, do it right now. Okay, let's just do it. There's no thought to it. It just grows too fast. And then you go through that wormhole and never come back. I'm being super exaggerated. But what I'm saying is, like, with new thinking, new ideas, there has to be some grounding. There has to be, again, the hype can be way too big. And in the end, it's not going to be either productive or practical. So anything you encounter today through these times that is new, cool, exciting, especially around technology or things like that, or innovations, give it some time. Just chill the beans, because when things grow too fast, they can get out of control easy too. So this is kind of one way of seeing this energy. At a more personal level, the need for self-expression, the individuated self-expression, which comes from Uranus, and because the energy of Aquarius is very present, is sponsored by Uranus. There really is a need to do things differently. But for people that are way too ahead, it might seem too crazy, you know? And for people that are way too, for people that are way too traditional, these new things can seem way too out there, way too crazy. So there might be a pullback of really trying to do things the old way, no matter what. And for people that are way too unconventional and advanced, bringing all these things, it could feel very um suppressive, people not wanting to adopt things, people being so careful where there's immense possibility. So you see, it just depends where you are in the spectrum. At a personal level, what I would recommend is to observe if you're the kind of person who is really attached to the old and to the old ways of being and is too afraid of liberating or trying something new. Or if you are, on the other hand, the kind of person that cannot commit to anything, only wants new things, can never settle down, doesn't have any kind of groundedness because you're afraid to be bound by some kind of cage. And think about how you can uh, feel safe and free and stable within a changing world. What I mean by that is to know that you can have freedom and exciting things and new things and try different things and dare to try them without compromising a sense of security and stability. And you can be stable and secure and committed without necessarily losing your freedom. So it's almost like it's observing yourself and knowing that, yes, things are changing, things are evolving, things will always evolve. And you are part of this evolution, and you can also be in your center. So it's almost like when things are all up in the air, which is this amount of Aquarian energy, it could be very difficult for Earth people, for Earth energy, especially Virgos. I would say it's an inconjunct to the energy of Aquarius or Cancers, because you just need to feel so self and so contained. This is the energy of space exploration. Literally, it's like it's being riding a wave. So what I would say for people that need to absolutely know everything, how it works, like Virgo people, like this is not the time to be too attached to knowing how things are going to play out or how things work, because you can't. This is the time to trust that you can ride. I'm just getting this image of a flying carpet. So know that you're held by a flying carpet and that this flying carpet will fly you places. So you're not completely without some sense of familiarity. This is kind of the image I just got. So if things got too crazy, and even if maybe you start feeling that you awaken to things you've never thought before or information you've never heard before, if this is you and this is really overwhelming, trust that you are not crazy, that there are many people out there that have already ridden those waves and that will help guide you. And not only that, that you have an internal guidance system that is in your soul that you can find at any moment, anytime, by just stopping and breathing very deeply and slowly into your belly like this. Breathe, hold, breathe out. So if you do that little simple exercise when things are overwhelming, especially if you feel like you don't understand what's going on. And again, this could be more true for um, people with planets at the first degrees of Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, and and Leo. So Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus, which is the fixed sign. So if you have any planets or angles in the first degrees of those signs, this energy might be speaking to you very intensely. So um, take deep breaths. Know for sure that you're not crazy and that you can ground yourself by just taking deep breaths. So that's that. Um, Now, this is part of what I was saying about the the difference between all the new things. I don't know. This is actually a picture that I got from the internet of the Google glasses, right? So yeah, this is that kind of thing. These technologies are out there already. There might be some kind of big announcements and hypes around them. And now you can have these glasses and suddenly you can just do all these and see all these dimensions that are not real. They're VR almost. And you're just there and then you're navigating now with your eyes or whatnot. And but we might not know what effects this can have on health, for instance, your eyes, your sight. So this is why it's important to go slow with these technological advancements, because as we know, even our phones emit frequencies that are detrimental to the brain and to certain areas. They interface with our own biomagnetic field, and not necessarily always in positive ways. It's been known that having this close to your ear over the years and years has caused could cause cancer and things like that. So, you know, this is why with big advancements we need to be cautious, but not too cautious. It's just, discernment. So again, the potential tension between individuality and stability, or all this advancement and the need for safety and security, which is, the old way. I'm just gonna go with my map and I'll navigate this way because this is safe. Like, okay, find the midpoint. There might be a clash between, innovative, freedom-seeking tendencies, the Google classes, and a desire for security and traditional values. Let's go with map. Balancing personal growth with practical considerations become essential. So people don't jump in. Well, I mean, you do whatever you want. I'm just inviting you to not jump on the next big hype without just any considerations in the impact it can have in your family, in your environment, on your health. Just, but stay curious. That would be my recommendation, but you do whatever you want. That's that. Okay, so that is for the new moon. And where is the conjunction of now talking about the conjunction of Chiron to the North Node? This is going to happen shortly after this new moon, because in this new moon we're planting seeds of the new. So I'm not just going to talk about, well, all the things that could happen. It's more like, what are the frequencies you want to align with? You are the one who plants the new frequencies. You are the one who decides how to work with your energy, and understanding that you have all the power, Pluto, to manage the frequency and the reality you want to live in. That's kind of why the Pluto Mercury at the beginning of the month is there, so that we can introspect and find those things within. Now, with the Chiron North Node, there is a intense and not only that, it's Chiron the North Node, and this is when Mars and Pluto make this conjunction that I was talking about. There's first Mercury goes over Pluto, so we can find these things. Now Mars goes over Pluto, and Mars is sponsoring this Chiron North Node conjunction at 16 degrees of Aries, because Mars is the ruler of Aries for those learning astrology or those who know astrology. So it's sponsored by Mars. So what is happening here? Pluto wants us to transform and completely let go of something so we can evolve. That is Pluto's main archetypal signature, is to show us what's lurking in the shadows so we can transform it. So this intense and transformative yang energy, because Mars and Pluto have this capacity to use the power of the internal energy to achieve and accomplish anything and transform and literally transform matter. This is why a volcano, when it explodes and creates new islands, new territory, but by destroying. So this energy can be seen as an energy that is capable to accomplish anything. It's like this dynamite So if you have focus, focus and desire and something you want to go get, this is the time to do it. Now, we can be encountering, we could be encountering the wounds of the masculine. What is the wounds of the masculine or the wounds of the young? When, think about war times, think about how many times, and I'm going to talk men, but in reality is the masculine energy. But throughout the centuries, men were going to war, putting themselves in the front lines, getting killed, getting mutilated, uh, being completely traumatized, those who survived. And when this gets passed on through the family lineages, the memories of war, the grandfathers, the great grandfathers, even if a child didn't live through a war, there's memory in the cells, there's memory in the family tree. And for the souls that, and if you believe in reincarnation, because in this day and age, reincarnation can just be seen as simultaneous lifetimes, but I'm not going to go into that. It's way too Aquarian and crazy, but call me crazy. This is astrology and beyond. So I'm talking about beyond, you know? So, um, but hear me out. Just humor me for a little bit. When a soul has maybe incarnated several times and having memories or having, imagine you and I mean you could have been a soul who has been, the lifetimes, killed in war, mutilated, tortured, and all of those horrible things that are part of the Mars Pluto archetype, which is brute force. It could even be abuse. It's the most horrible things that humanity can imagine, like raping, that's part of that archetype because it's this brute force, right? But it's also the force of a volcano. It's also the force of birth, of a mother giving birth to a child. That is the same force. So you see, that's the yang energy. And when there's a wound, meaning through centuries and centuries, there's been this, every time you have to be brave to go for something, you have to use force in order to defend yourself or your family or your country. This is a wound. This is the fear thereof. This is, no, I cannot do this anymore. So what happens when this energy comes to the fore? Few different things can happen. Suddenly, we see this exacerbate, this energy of force and violence and discontent. So this is when we can see, again, riots, we can see murders, we can see things, we can see oppressions, we can see control through technology, we can see all kinds of things that repress. And at the same time, we can feel the force, the repressive forces, and the liberating forces wanting to explode that, therefore conflict. And because Mars Pluto has this yang force, it can be exacerbated, meaning that we will see a lot of that. So if this exacerbates, it's only so that we can see that it's probably very damaging, that war, hatred, killing, and all of that, it's just part of the wound. So to heal the masculine wound is to come back to the light of Aries, which is courage, which is strength, which is assertiveness. This is the true yang in its best light. Is the sun. It's a solar energy. Yang energy is a solar energy, meaning it's outward, it's all giving. And this is an opportunity to reconcile that yang energy, both within men and women. So for instance, if you are a male or a female, that is always just driven and driven and driven and always pushing, pushing, going, pushing, driven, like, and exhausting yourself, and the body's tired and you just keep pushing. Either in work, you're pushy, you're like, you know, chances are that this will exacerbate, and you will get into burnout. You might get completely burnt out because it's too much of this energy. So it wants you to see that you can regulate this energy, that you can actually tone it down, that it's okay. You don't always need to be pushing. You don't always need to overexert yourself. You don't need to. So if you're that kind of person, this might exacerbate for you. So you can actually see it. And then chill the squirrel. That could be one. The other thing could be if you are the kind of person who is very, very afraid, very disempowered, very feminine, very not ever taking a risk because it's too scared to take any risk, because risk means putting yourself out there, and that's why you're healing this wound. Well, this energy might actually help you empower yourself and come out of that shell and get more assertive. So it just depends how you ride the wave. So here's a little exercise, my friends, that you can do if you are on either side of the spectrum. If you are on the weaker side where the masculine has been completely depleted and you need to bring it back into force, then you can use an image of the sun, or you can mentally visualize the sun or feel the sun or go out in the sunlight. And for a few minutes every day while this transit is in action, you could just breathe in, imagine or visualize you have a big sun in the heart, that the sun expands, that you're strong, that you are courageous, that you are assertive, and that will elevate your masculine energy. And then you can bring the sun down to your lower organs and then to the legs, and imagine that this sun just permeates all your being with solar energy, and that this energy is the energy that makes you live. It's an energy that will give you force, strength, and courage. And you can say, and you can repeat this to yourself as a mantra: I am courageous, I am strong, I am assertive. I am courageous, I am strong, I am assertive, I am whole. And then that could be a way to do it. If, on the contrary, on the other side, you are the kind of person who is really forceful and is just always overdoing it, which means you have too much charge, then what you can do is breathe through the nose and breathe out through the mouth and discharge energy. I would recommend do it maybe on, if you can, bare feet on the ground, so the earth can start absorbing the energy. It's literally you have excess of fire. So we just breathe in and discharge fire energy through the mouth. This is a way to discharge too much energy, too much charge, because what happens is you can heat up literally. And that's why anger is such a hot thing. And if it doesn't have any way to escape, Mars and Pluto is like this burst of anger that will explode something. That's why it correlates to explosions, volcanoes, things like that. So if you are conscious and aware, and you know you're this kind of person that needs to release some steam by using the breath. Release it, release it, release it. It's also an air sign, Aquarius. So using the air, using the breath, and using like breathing techniques would be great to release pent-up energy. Holotropic breath work is also phenomenal, because this is where you are going to use that breath to let all this go. And I would definitely recommend it more for the people that are way too young, too much fire, too much. Otherwise, you can come into complete exhaustion by too much charge of energy until it bursts. And bursting can happen in the body, parts of your body. This is when bones break, where things explode. I wouldn't say you are going to explode, but the body reacts. And on the topic of Mars Pluto, I can tell you a little story of my personal transits of Mars Pluto. I have been having a square of Pluto to my natal Mars for the past year, and it's ongoing for this year. What I felt, and this is why I can speak to how this energy feels, is that I had energy for everything. So I said yes, literally to everything. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. And then I would do everything. I would take on much more than I could actually take, especially because I also had it in T squared to Jupiter. So it was even bigger. And I thought I was able to do everything. So I literally said yes to so many things, so many projects, so many everything. And very rarely gave myself time to even rest. But there's so much energy that I just can't stop. It's almost like I can't stop. There's no off button. But then the body, the actual physical body, at some point shuts down. And that's what happened to me. It burned out and it kind of started like shutting down. And the joints were painful. And suddenly I was so weak I couldn't even open a jar. And then I took a month to recover. And then yesterday, I'm still under this transit. Again, when I was digging that hole, guess what? I started digging the hole. I can dig this hole. I'm strong. This is Mars Pluto. I can dig this hole. I'm digging, digging, digging the hole. And then it's heavy, but I'm like, I can do this. One more, one more, one more. And then at some point I said, come on, didn't you learn? Haven't you learned anything? That it's not about pushing so hard. Use leverage, maybe rest, maybe only do a few and then go rest. And I had to talk myself out of the uh, of not stopping. Again, I have a lot of fire, and I'm working on incorporating more of the yin, which we will see the week after when Venus crosses over Pluto. That's when we're going to rebalancing the yin energies. So at this point, if you understood any of this, that's great. And if you didn't, and this is way too abstract, it's okay. Maybe you're at this moment, it's not meant to land, and it's totally fine. But if it does land, do that consciously. Take care of rebalancing your young energies. Otherwise, what can happen, you know? Well, I'm gonna read the themes again. A drive for powerful strategic changes and a determination to overcome obstacles. That's the great energy that Pluto gives you with Mars to actually move through anything. Be mindful of using this potent energy constructively, as it can fuel both personal growth and collective endeavors with significant impact, and especially the collective endeavors because it's in Aquarius. So when we're trying to drive social changes and movements, we can use this energy for the better, provided it's not used with force and aggression. Now, beware of using brute force, pushing too hard, and overexertion, because this energy can be very ruthless as well. So it's up to you how you use it. Like everything in astrology, the weather is there. And if it impacts you, obviously, who's going to be more impacted by this energy? Like I said before, people with the early degrees of Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. Oh my God, this is talking to you. This energy might be challenging for you, and it's time to really look at it and address it. Now, who is going to be more impacted by the Chiron energies? People with Aries placements in Aries around the 16th degree, Libra, um, Capricorn, and Cancer. Cancer and Capricorn. So if you have planets around the 16th degree of the cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, then the needing to be brave and to really move forward is very important to assert yourself. So I would recommend do the sun meditation. And again, it depends who you are. Each chart is different, and these energies that are transiting speak to you differently. Some people might not even feel transits at all. They might be like, well, I felt a little something. Some people might have life-changing experiences, and it all depends on your personal chart. This is why, it's not cookie cutter. I'm just saying, if this is you and this is impacting you, like, remember these words. Now, for the Chiron, again, talking about the Chiron, I pulled this image because this is how I could see the sun coming through the heart, and then it just goes down into the pelvic area. Like I said, like the sun is reinvigorating you. So this will be part of, like, you can use this image for your meditation. So confronting and healing past wounds, fostering a more authentic and empowered sense of self, embracing individuality, and taking courageous steps toward personal development aligned with the soul's path. So if you want to take a screenshot of this image and use it for your meditations, then by all means, please do, because again, we're all sharing information from the field, and everything, every single person that does something with consciousness affects the whole field. And that's how we design the new realities. So it doesn't have to be, like I said at the beginning of the video, it doesn't have to be through crisis, through pain, and through suffering and horror and, confusion. It could be, everything could be done with a lot of consciousness. And that's when the ride is exciting. So this is about it. There's obviously always more to share, but I just felt inclined to just share these energies with you. And again, please please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and if you're wanting a reading to understand how the transits are impacting you, please feel free to look me up in the description below. I can help you to see how these transits that are could be very life-changing, could be impacting you, especially if you're in crisis mode and you need some guidance and even some more exercises and meditations. Remember, I am here to give you astrology and beyond, which means I will give you things to do that will help you in your journey, not just read a blueprint or a transit. I will definitely be here to support you. Also, please feel free to leave me comments, because when there's transits happening and you tell me your stories, I read the comments, and it helps also all the community to see what people are going through. And it's nice to share that amongst each other, because then we can see, well, this is happening to me and that's happening to me, and this is how I'm experiencing this, and different people experience things differently, and we can support each other. That's also part of building these communities. And for me, it's really important to create a network that is supportive, that is loving, and that will raise the frequency, the vibration, and we can do it together if we focus our collective intention into a much more elevated future. Again, my word for the day is I don't know. And you know what? I don't know. I just gave you the weather, and we'll see. Exciting not to know. With this, blessings, and I see you in the next video.